Hi everybody, it's Cindy, that crafting lady. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time here, and welcome back if you're returning. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Today is another challenge that I'm participating in. It is called the Inspired Challenge, and it's hosted by Elena Jenkins DIY and Elizabeth at Dandysoap DIY. I will link their channels and the playlist for this challenge below. Make sure that you check out both their channels and the playlist. I would appreciate it. The Inspired DIY Challenge is basically you take something that inspires you and make a craft from that inspiration. So this time I let my Pinterest board be my inspiration. I will link that also below so that you can check it out if you would like. I've got a few crafts to share with you today, or a few items to share with you today. So let's go to my craft room and get crafting. Okay, so my Pinterest board wanted me to craft with some buttons today, and this is my button bin, or as my husband calls it, Schrodinger's buttons, because you don't know if it's cookies or if it's buttons. And I have a ton of buttons, as you can see. It's quite full. But I didn't have any red or green, and I ended up having to go to Michael's. But I had a 40% off coupon, and it was only like $2. So I got some red and green buttons and a whole bunch of others, and I'm going to make some nice ornaments out of buttons for you today. So let's get started. All right, so I have these little scraps of cardboard. They're regular, like beige on one side, and they're black on the other, and I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and made by Plaid. I love my Mod Podge, and some scrap burlap that I've had. So I'm going to slather on some burlap or some Mod Podge onto my cardboard so that we can adhere the burlap to it. Get a lot on there because the burlap does soak it up quite a lot, but it works really well. If you don't have Mod Podge, you could probably use fabric tack. That's another one of my favorite glues. All right, so we've got that on there. We'll get this out of the way. You got to let that, press it in real good, and then let it dry all the way completely. So we'll set it aside to dry, but I've got some others already done. So there's another one that I did earlier, and now we're going to cut off all the excess. So we'll just take our scissors and cut right along the edge so that we can get it nice and neat. These are supposed to be rustic, but they still should look a little bit neater than that. So here we go. Cut them all off, and let's get it out of the way. So the next thing that I'm going to do is, well, I got to trim this one up, apparently. I forgot. Okay, got it. So let's start with the first ornament that we're going to make. I need to trace a circle, and I couldn't find my circle cookie cutter, so I'm just using a little jar of toothpicks that was about the right size for a circle. And go around it a couple of different times with my pencil here. It's just a guide, so it doesn't have to be real dark, but it's enough so that I can see the circle. Because I want to put my buttons in like a wreath. That's what we're making, a little wreath. And I decided to use 2 different shades of green and also 2 different sizes of the green. So I'm using the lighter green is big and the darker green is a little bit smaller. And I'm going to place them and see how many I need to go all the way around my circle here. It's always a good idea to pre-place your buttons when you're making something like this, just so that you can make sure that you end up with them in the right order. You don't want 2 of the big greens to be sitting next to each other, or 2 of the littles, either way. So that looks good. We'll push them off, and we'll get my glue gun, my hot glue gun, my Surebonder, because you got to stick with the best, right? Oh, that's just my dog in the background. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so trying to get the glue out. I don't know if it's quite ready yet. Oh, yep, it is. Okay, there we go. So get some glue out and trace around along that line that I made with my pencil, and then we'll start adding our buttons. There we go. So put a big light one in the middle, and then just alternate all the way around and keep going. And you can see here that even though I had my circle, well, when we get down there, I'll let you know what I was doing. Not everything is perfect, but I'll tell you, you'll see how well Surebonder works, how quickly Surebonder works to glue your buttons down to this burlap. Because I'm trying to push them in and they're not budging. And there goes those glue strings again. Gotta love it. Go around a little bit further. There we go. Get some on there. Keep alternating those beads. So what are you putting on your trees, huh? So you can see I ended up with a little space that's a little too big for that last bead. And I'm going to have to, I think I popped some off here just to move them around a bit. Yep, popped a couple off so that I can smoosh them in a little bit closer so that we get a nicer circle out of it. But Surebonder really works well. I'm really impressed with how well that glues. And there goes some more glue strings again. Gotta love them. Okay. So there, we've got the base of our wreath, and I want to add a little bow to it. So what I'm going to use in this case is a little jute bow. It really blends in with the burlap, and it's just very rustic, and I like it. I really stink at making bows, so I didn't make any of my bows on video today. But there's a lot of really good bow tutorials out there if you look for them. So there is our first ornament, nice and completed, except for the hanger. So we'll turn it over, and I just took some jute string that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the back. Put a nice blob of hot glue in the back, and put my jute right into it. And make sure that you have a craft stick, or you do something if your fingers aren't used to the glue. My fingers are pretty used to the glue, but sometimes I like to use a tool. And I think I'm going to put a little extra glue on this one just to get it to stick. Oh, see there, I took my tool out to push it into the glue and get that there, and then just put a little extra over the top. Make sure that it stays, because you don't want your ornaments falling off your tree. And we'll let that dry completely, and we are all set to hang that on our tree. So there's ornament number 1. All right, let's hit ornament number 2. So I've got another one that I already completed. There's no sense in you watching me do all the Mod Podging down with the burlap, because they're all the same. So I took a red button, a little bit bigger one. It was one of the only red buttons that I did have in the tin. You can see the other little one right there. But I wanted some more, so I went out and got some. So there we go. There is Rudolph's nose, because we're making Rudolph today. And grab my paint, and I just have a little bit of black paint in one of the wells and the end of one of my paintbrushes. And we're going to give my little reindeer here some eyes. I probably should have had a bigger, maybe like the end of a pencil or something to give him eyes, because it took me a couple of tries to really get some good sized eyes in there. So maybe that would have been a better tool for me this time, but I got it done. It just took a couple coats or a couple dabs there to get the eyes onto my reindeer. But eventually they came out very nice. Yep, it looks good. There, I think we're all good. Awesome. So we'll move that out of the way. Clean off our paintbrush. Keep our tools clean, they'll last us longer. Now we got to add some antlers. So I got a couple little pieces of twigs that have little bits of, you know, they're not just straight little pieces. They actually have little other V sections in them. And I'm just kind of laying them out, seeing where I want to put them. Perfect. I think that looks good. So I will, oh, a little bit of futz in there, and get the glue gun out and glue them right on. Can't get much easier than that. And place it right where I want it. Now hold it down for a couple of seconds just to get it to stick. There it goes. All right, and we'll glue the second one down. Talk about easy ornaments. These are so great. Gotta love Pinterest. I wish I had enough time and money to do all the pins on my Pinterest board, because it would be great, wouldn't it? Or go all the places that I have on my Pinterest board. Well, on my personal Pinterest, not on my That Crafting Lady Pinterest board. But so there, Rudolph is complete except for his hanger. Let's do a hanger. Same thing. Just put a blob of glue and stick in my jute twine. And there it goes. Push it down with my tool. I've used that tool for just about everything. I use it when I cross stitch to get my stitches to lay flat. I've used it for this, making holes when I'm making books in the sides, everything. I love that tool. There we go. Rudolph is done, ready for the tree. We'll move on to the next one. And there's another burlap covered piece of cardboard. And I've got some twine that I got at the Dollar Tree. I just cut 3 random lengths, and I'm going to put those right onto the burlap with my glue gun, my Surebonder. All right, so I'm going to put one strand right down in the middle. I think I'll make that the longest strand because I'm going to vary the lengths, and just set the twine right into it. It's a little bit of like red and white twine, kind of like a baker's twine. And this one will be a little bit shorter on this side. I get so tentative. I don't want to put out too much glue, so it kind of takes me a little while to push that glue out of there. I'm still getting used to it. It has a really cool trigger on it, and I think that's what I'm getting used to. And the third one, we're going to make the shortest of all of them. Put that one right into the glue. Press it in. Awesome, there it goes. And now we're going to add our beads. So I think I'm putting, what color am I putting here? A green one there. Like that green. And then I'll put a red one. A little bit of glue. And our red bead for our ornament. Nice and simple. I was going to put a blue one, and then I decided, nope, I wanted a white one. So I'm going to use a white one instead. So what's nice about crafting is you do it until you like it, until it looks good to you, because these are your crafts and you got to make them for you. Nobody else, right? All right, now that I've got those on there, I'm going to cut off the excess of that twine. There we go, nice and easy. I think these would be easy for kids to make too, and you could use maybe fabric tack instead of the hot glue for the kids, and it would do the same thing. I just like the hot glue because it's a lot quicker, even though fabric tack is very quick glue to dry and to use. The Surebonder works a little bit quicker for me. Here we go, last the hanger for this. Can't wait to hang all these on my tree. I will be doing a video of my tree, so you'll be able to see all these ornaments that I've been making and putting on my tree. And I think this is our last ornament that I'm making. Maybe not. Oh no, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I can't remember how many I made. So we're going to make a little snowman. I'm going to put the smaller white button, and I'm going to make sure, because these are both 2-hole buttons, that the eyes go just like eyes would go, right? So they're horizontal. And then when I put the second button on, his body button, I'm going to make sure that those holes go up and down, because those are his buttons for our snowman. Now we got to give him a scarf. I've got all these pieces of wool that have been cut up for my rug hooking, which is another craft I do. I get some green and some brown, and I made a bow, but I think I want more of like a scarf look for him. So I'm gonna take like a little piece of the brown and put it on him. So what I'll do is put some glue right where I want it to be around his neck. And I'm going to open it up because I want to only lay half, like the middle right there, and stick it down. And then I'll add some glue to the wool itself so that I can glue it over like a scarf would be around the neck. And that looks good. Like that. And now he needs a hat. So I'm going to take... Oh, sorry, I got to trim this first before I give him a hat. Make sure his scarf is perfect. There we go. Now we're going to give him his hat. So I'm going to cut a strip of the same wool, about the size I want for the brim of his hat. A little bit too big, so we'll cut it down. I love those little curved scissors. They work great. I bought them for cross stitching, but they're good for just about everything. Yes, I cross stitch too. I quilt. I sew. I love it. Now I'm going to take 2 small pieces for the top part of his hat, because I don't have a piece that's quite big enough just to do it in one. But we'll just give him a little top hat. And get creative. I could have used a piece of felt. I didn't have any black felt, so I didn't want to use it. I do have some red felt. I probably could have did that, but I think this brown wool looks really good. Plus it's using up some scraps that I had from a rug hooking project. So there we go. Thing is, I put them up a little high and I don't like that empty space. So let's do something. So hold on, let me go grab some greenery or something to put underneath him. What do I have in my stash? I'm looking, I'll be right back. Let me see. Oh, I got it. So I took a piece of that garland that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And this is another scrap. I think this is the 4th project that I'm using a piece of it from. And I'm going to cut it down because it's really kind of fuzzy and, you know, too big for our little ornament. So we're just going to cut the fronds down to be more the correct proportions for what we're doing here with our little snowman. Just to give it something. Yeah, something like that. I need to cut a little more though. It's too much. All right, I got it good. Keep it going. But boy, did those little fronds stick to everything. There we go. Now take our glue gun and glue that down. Perfect. Yeah, that makes it look a little better. Maybe next time I make a snowman, I'll just put him down a little further. Or I could have added snow there, I guess. That would have looked cute too, now that I'm thinking about it. And maybe I'll add some snow to the branch. And add our hanger again, just like all the others. Get it on there. I hope you like these crafts that I'm making today. Please give me a thumbs up if you do. There's their other ornament. Awesome. So I've made 5 ornaments for you out of my button tin, and I absolutely loved doing these crafts. I hope you enjoyed watching them. If you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate you doing so, and hit the thumbs up button if you liked this video for me. Click the bell icon and be notified when I upload more videos. And until next time, please make sure that you live fully, love deeply, and learn something new every day. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.